So, a very good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining on a Saturday morning. And it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this free webinar from Page to Pixel, turning science into effective visuals. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Siddharth Talur, whose support and dedication has been invaluable in bringing this webinar to fruition. Unfortunately, he won't be able to join the webinar today. So we have my colleague Avni Kulkarni who will be coordinating the workshop. And in case you have any questions or doubts, she'll be interacting with you in the chat section. So before we dive into this world of scientific illustration, just a quick introduction about me. So as you know, my name is Rutuja. I've completed my MSc in Biotechnology from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. And I started my professional journey as an academic editor. And simultaneously, I was doing a course in graphic design. I entered the world of design professionally as a UI/UX designer. And then eventually I started working as an illustrator in e-learning. And currently I'm working as a science illustrator. So I've been in the field of design for more than 4 years now. So it's a known fact that our brain can process visual information much faster than textual information. And when I talk about scientific illustrations, it's basically a way of communicating some complex scientific concept with the help of simplified yet engaging visuals. So like you see the illustration of human heart here. Mm, take a few minutes and go through it. And would anyone like to say how it's trying to convey the message here, and how do you think it is simplifying the entire structure? You can directly turn on your mics and speak up.
So in the
Hello.
first, okay.
Yeah, tell me.
You can go ahead, Bhushan ji. I will go later. Yeah, after you.
Okay, so listen. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. So in the this red and blue color, they are showing this oxygenated, deoxygenated blood. So that will be clear from that. Also, it is showing
Yeah,
the flow of this blood in from different compartments of heart. So that
exactly.
is in illustration making everything easier.
Yes, right. Yeah, would anyone else like to add something to this?
Yeah. So the communication is that one is sometime we are speaking something and the person who understanding the information in different way.
Yes.
जैसे हिंदी में एक बहुत ही अभी बहुत सारे रील चल रहे हैं कि रुको जाओ मत. It's something when
Yeah,
you are talking about the scientific illustration or representation, it's giving the complete idea to different background of the audience because not everyone on the same page. So
exactly.
what you are talking and what I am understanding is the different for me. Because if I'm coming with non-tech background and you are talking more complicated terminology, it's very difficult. For if you are giving the sort of the pictorial image or pictorial view and putting the name over there, so I understand, oh, this what you are talking. I little bit understand. I can make the image in mindset in mind. So this is again the scientific things to having those things.
Yes, thank you. That's a very interesting answer, actually. So you have very clearly simplified it. It's clearly to give a message of your scientific context with the help of a engaging visual here. So when I talk about the methods that are used for creating scientific illustration, first is the traditional method, the pen and paper method, which was commonly used in the previous times. But now, as we know, we are moving ahead with times, and all the digital softwares are used for creating such illustrations. So scientific illustration itself is a very broad field, and we can divide it into some simple categories. First being the scientific illustration, which are used for publications or your research presentations, graphical abstracts or TOC graphic, which we call it, infographics and posters, data visualization, and scientific animation. So we'll dive into each of these sections now and try to understand them. So this is an example of a scientific illustration which I had designed in collaboration with Professor Nixon Abraham from ISO Pune. Uh, Take some time, take a few minutes and go through this illustration. And I would like you to let me know what you're trying to understand from this illustration. You can type in the chat box or you can just turn on your cameras and just speak up. I'll just zoom in this a bit so you can read it clearly. You may not completely understand the concept behind this. That's totally fine, but you can just attempt to explain whatever you're trying, whatever you're understanding from this.
I don't have the clear idea, but it's like, it's, I think it is the map of the how left brain or right brain is going to function when we see the some image and which is and that the particular nerve systems responding or acting some way. I
Okay. Yeah. Would anyone else like to guess it? Yeah, Swati, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think the with A, image A, it's first showing us all where all the different parts are. That is what it is trying to communicate. Then
Okay.
in B, we are seeing that in part A, we have something that is entering from the nose. Right. Then in part B, we are seeing how, if we go from bottom to top, we see how first there is olfactory mucosa, that is where the part that was entering the nose from A is interacting there, and B is a more zoomed in format. It is
Yeah.
showing how different levels they are connected, and C is then the final one, which is showing the flow of everything that is going on in B and how A is the whole part of it. I
Yes,
think that
that's
is what
very
is the
close.
interaction of the olfactory working, I think, and
Yes.
how the brain processes it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Do we have any more answers? Okay, let's zoom into each section now and try to understand it a bit better. So basically, in this illustration, they are trying to understand the pathways that underlie the the long-term pathological effects of COVID-19 and the incidence of Parkinson's disease. So though that is not clearly mentioned here, we have the COVID-19 virus entering the respiratory system. So in this section, basically, they are trying to connect the neurotransmitter transitional pathway of COVID-19, how it enters the respiratory system, and and its connection with the olfactory center, which is basically involved in the pathogenesis of in the pathology of Parkinson's disease. Now, when we look at the second section, this is again they're suggesting that the olfactory pathway is the potential route for transmission of COVID-19 and how it invades the central nervous system. So they are basically trying to establish a connection between the transmission of COVID-19 and how it invades the central nervous system and the pathology of Parkinson's disease. And again, in the third section, like Swati correctly said, they're trying to establish a connection between these two. So the olfactory centers and the areas that are involved in Parkinson's disease. So though it is not clearly given here, but with the help of these visuals and the clear distinction between the all the sections, this illustration will help us to understand this entire theory that they are putting forward in a much better manner. So that's the function of a scientific illustration in any research publication. So basically, a scientific illustration will help you to explain an experiment, a concept, or like a theory in this case, So I would define a scientific illustration as a perfect blend of scientific accuracy and design principles. Because no matter how attractive you make your illustration to be, it's extremely important to be scientifically accurate and to follow some basic design principles like the right color theory to be applied, the typography that is used. There needs to be consistency with your overall design. So some basic principles being applied will help you to convey your information in a much better manner with this visuals. So before we talk about graphical abstracts, again, I would like you to take some time, go through this example of a graphical abstract, and let me know what you think it's trying to convey.
I just had one doubt. What
Yeah.
does TOC stand for?
TOC is table of contents graphics. So it's the same term that is used for graphical abstract. Some research publications will give TOC graphic in their guidelines, and some will mention a graphical abstract. I hope it's clear now.
Yeah, so a table of content, as in, I'm not getting it. Is there any example?
Yeah, so we are actually moving into that area.
Yeah,
But
okay, no problem.
yeah, before that, I would just like you to go through this and then
Yeah.
I'll explain what a TOC graphic or a graphical abstract is. So would anyone like to guess or say what they're trying to understand from this? Or what do you think is lacking? Yeah, Roshan, please go ahead.
Yeah, here we can see the graphics are like we can't see what they're trying to explain. So it's kind of confusing, and I think it's made in in the PowerPoint presentation. So that says that doesn't explain everything. So I'm a bit confused here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I can say.
Okay. Yeah, Bhushan, please go ahead.
I think it is about permeability of this some molecule over here. So there is
Yes.
change in polarity. I think reduction in polarity, which is written over there actually. So due to
Hmm.
reduction in polarity, it can pass through the membrane. Of course, the membrane
Okay.
is hydrophobic. That's why I think it is passing through that also.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
protein is over there, which is I think the channel for that molecule to pass inside. I guess that.
Yes. Yeah, but do you think this can be improved or we can present this in a better way?
Yes, a lot of things can be improved in this. Actually, the membrane itself can be improved. Also, the molecular polarity. Actually, we can show the charges and many things can be.
Yes. Yeah. Do we have any other answer for this? Okay, so basically this graphical abstract, uh, though we had an answer now explaining what it is trying to convey, but when you see the actual elements that should be highlighted in the abstract are somewhat taking a backseat. And the elements like the word art that is used here, which is very unflattering, and the large font size used, the elements that actually need to be highlighted are not highlighted here, and the random placement of elements in the illustration is making it very unclear to understand the actual research work here. Now let's take this example of a graphical abstract. Take your time, go through it, and again, I would like someone to quickly explain what they understand from this.
From here, I understand that the sensor is sensing the data, and data
Okay.
like no a sample is also right side data analysis. There is the graphics divided into two parts. One
Hmm.
is the like how you can the function of the basic mechanism of the sensor, how it's sensing. The second
Hmm.
part is the data analysis or measurement, how we are collecting data from the sample and how it is working. And that right side graph, there is like again the data analysis of DNA constraint or something, and it is like compatible with the smartphone, so it's easy to like collect data on the through a smartphone something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Do we have any other answer? Okay, so as he rightly said, we have the graphical abstract is clearly divided into two sections. The first, where they're talking about their experimental part of probe immobilization on a PCB electrode. After this process, they are talking about the data analysis section, where they use some sensor, a circuit is applied, and the plot that they are showing here and clearly indicating what they're trying to understand from this, where the QDL plot here shows different trends with increasing analyte concentration. So you may not have an idea about the research work here, but when you go through this illustration, it's very much clear about, it's very much giving the idea of the entire research work in a compact manner. So a graphical abstract is basically a visual summary of your entire research paper. It should convey your entire research work with the help of just one single graphic that will explain your experimental process and the analysis portion. And when you divide this into sections, it helps you to convey your information in a much organized manner, as opposed to the first example that we saw, where elements were just placed randomly on your screen. So these are some of the free tools that are available. I'm sure most of you must be using PowerPoint for creating your small figures or graphics. But there are several free tools also available, which you can go ahead and start exploring to create your own illustrations. So basically, the next time you're going to create your own illustration, I would suggest you to follow this four-step process. It's very important to know your scientific concepts well before you start creating any illustration. Then, before jumping into any software or directly starting with your digital illustration, I would suggest you to create a rough sketch on a paper or any tablet if you're using one, because this will help you to organize your elements properly. And once you know the layout of your illustration, it will be much quicker for you when you start creating it in a digital software. Then once you have your sketch ready, you can go ahead with any software which you are comfortable with, create the illustration and keep refining it till you think it is perfect. Obviously, it needs to be scientifically accurate when you're looking forward to making it more attractive. So before we move ahead, I would like to take you quickly through the interface of Inkscape, which is a free software that can be used for creating illustrations. So this is the dialog box that appears when you're opening Inkscape for the very first time. I'll just create a new document here. Now, if you're looking at the interface for the very first time, it may appear to be very overwhelming because there's a lot of tools on the right, on the left. There are several options at the bottom, at the top. So I would suggest you to take it very slow when you're starting with any new design software. You can learn all the tools one by one, explore it, and then start creating your actual illustration. So here, as you see, this is my canvas, and the rectangle that you see here is my artboard on which we can create our illustrations. So right now, I don't want it to be so grayish or black. So it has options to change the properties of my interface. So as I see, this is the A4 size rectangle that I have right now, but we can go ahead and customize it as we want. So you can change the width and height of the artboard and then create your illustration accordingly. So let's play with some basic tools before actually starting with any illustration. So this is the toolbar on the left, which will have some basic tools like the rectangle tool, circle tool, or the ellipse tool. Then you can create polygons. You can also create 3D shapes here. There's pen tool, there's pencil tool, there's text tool for adding text into your illustrations. So let's just create a simple square and see how we can add colors to it. So now when I select this tool and start drawing, you see it's giving me very random shapes, and I can keep changing the ratio of my rectangle. But in case I want to have a perfect square, I'll have to hold the control key and then drag my shape. So it gives me a perfect square here. Now the most important tool, or the most basic tool that I feel you should know in Inkscape, is the selector tool here, the shortcut for which is S. I need it to select any object or any vector that I place in my canvas. So now let's say I want to add color to this square. Now at the bottom, you see we have two options, fill and stroke. Stroke means the outline. So I've given a black outline already to my shape. I want to pick up some color for my shape. So they've given a wide variety of colors here. Let's say I want to make it yellow. So what I can do, I can just pick this color, drag and drop it in the fill option. Now you see it gives me the color wheel. So I can keep changing the shade of my yellow. I can choose another color if I want. I can also play with the opacity of my color. So this is just some basic tools that you can try out when you are first using Inkscape. There are several other tools that you can use to create your own illustrations, but this is just to introduce you to the software. So coming back to our presentation, now let's talk about data visualization. So data visualization is basically the art of communicating your complex information with the help of some attractive visuals. Now let's take a moment and go through these same images. And again, let me know what you think it is trying to convey. You can type in the chat box, or you can directly turn on your cameras and share your thoughts.
Hi, this is like it's a software generated, I think, or microscopic level data or
Yes.
imaginary data. So when we are
Hmm.
looking something like a micro scale, and the one micrometer, it's very small, I think. So those data or pictorial data, you can say that. So,
Yeah, yeah. So
or
with the
maybe
labels,
that,
what do you? Yeah, sorry
yeah,
to interrupt you.
label
What
is
with the
that
labels?
maybe the I think it is a culture or tasting, or maybe you are some bacteria you are doing the culture. So 0 hours and after 2 hours, maybe that it's a growth. Maybe you can try to convey in that.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
yeah, but good attempt. Do we have any other answers for this?
So I think these are like SEM images, scanning
Yeah,
electroscope, and the scales in the image itself, which are machine generated, are not visible. So the author has tried to put the scales outside the image, which first should be inside the image, so that the scale is kind of used to compare the size of whatever we are trying to compare with. And this data can be improvised by putting all these images in tabular format, basically in some boxes, and then make an outer box with all the 0 to hours control and test in the outer regions, so that so the comparison in the tabular format becomes easier and not with this middle line, which is showing of CNF raw and CNF functional. So what this is what I understand from this.
yes. Okay, so do we have any more answers? Okay, let's move ahead and see when we add graphs to this data, how do you think it is conveying the information now? Would anyone like to explain this, how the graph is explaining the images in a better manner?
yeah, but it's still it's it is incomplete because if the person or in the same background can relate the things, the person is not from the same background, it cannot relate that thing. And the figure 3 explaining little bit more in depth, okay, with that, this is, I think you can say it is complete, or maybe it's incomplete without more context visuals or more title is absence of that experiment.
Yes. So basically, these are the same images of carbon nanofibers. They have taken two samples, the raw and functionalized ones, and they are observing the control and test samples over a duration of 2 years, 2 hours, sorry, as it is mentioned here. So with the plots, it is clear that there is some decrease in the carbon nanofiber. So basically, degradation is happening over a duration of 2 years. Now, when you see the degradation happening in the raw sample and the degradation happening in the functionalized sample, it is very much clear with the graph that there's no noticeable change in case of the raw sample as compared to the functionalized sample. So this message that the difference was not noticeable in raw and it is very much noticeable in functionalized sample. This is clearly explained with the help of the visuals. But as we clearly had suggestions how it can be improved, there's definitely scope for improvement to present your data. But this is just a suggestion of how just pasting your image in your research data and adding it with the data visual like a graph or any type of plot will help to convey your message in a much better manner. So I'm sure most of you have used Microsoft Excel for plotting your data, but there are several free visualization tools that you can use, and some of these are given here. So before going ahead, I would like to quickly take you through the interface of Tableau software, which is freely available. So Tableau has different versions. They also have paid versions for institutes, and Tableau Public is the free version, which can be used by anyone and everyone. So now, as you see, this is the interface of the Tableau Public software. Uh, these are the different file formats that you can use. So Tableau is basically a software. When you import any type of your data in any of these formats, it will import that data, and then you can actually plot different types of graphs or charts with the help of your data. So it will directly convert all this data into the type of chart that you want. So let's say I have a Microsoft Excel file. I can directly import it here. Now I can select any of the data that I had kept in my Excel file. Just drag and drop it here. It directly gives me all the categories that I had in my data. And then I can create a worksheet, which is a new page in Tableau. So this is how the interface will look like when you're plotting any chart in Tableau. So now, as you see, we have two columns. We have two options here, columns and rows. I can directly drag and drop the category here, and it will create a type of chart that is most suitable for my data. It also gives me different options here, which I can switch between and see which one looks more suitable for my content. So this is just a quick introduction about the software. With this, with this software, we can also create your own interactive dashboards. So let's look at an example like that. So here's an example of a dashboard for the sales of some superstore. So as I mentioned earlier, when I drag and drop my categories as I want in the rows and columns section, it will automatically generate some type of plot that is most suitable for my data. So accordingly, I can create more and more pages for having different categories to be plotted. And then at the end, I can have a dashboard here where I can just have all my sheets, that is all my pages aligned together, and I can just drag and drop it on the dashboard. It will give me it will provide me an organized page for my for all the data that I have plotted. And as you see, when I hover over this, for each data point, it is giving me some information. So even that is customizable. So as you go ahead and explore this software, you'll understand how you can create such interactive data visuals for your data. Now let's talk about infographics and posters. So infographics are basically a combination of attractive visuals and some textual information which will explain your work. So here's an example of an infographic or a poster which I had designed for a company called Pre-Science in Silico. So here the goal was to explain or just to give an overview of the services that they provide and the different platforms that they have. So with minimal text and with the help of just one graphic, they're trying to explain their services. So just a marketing strategy here. Now let's have a look at different types of infographics. Let's zoom in a bit. So when we have a look at this infographic, which is talking about spent media analysis for bioprocess optimization. So now I may not have a complete idea about this concept, but when I go through these sections, or at least when I have look at the headings, it's clearly showing me that they're giving their value proposition. It's showing how where it's help or where it is applied, the strengths of their services or their product, what are the services that they follow that they offer and the workflow that they follow, and they are supporting that with some case studies. So this was a poster that was for a startup called Clarity Biosystems, which they had used for a conference. So in this case, they are looking forward. Their audience will be obviously researchers from different areas, but most probably the business collaborators that will that will help them to convey their area of work in this areas. So here the audience will be science professionals plus business professionals. On the other hand, if I have a look at this infographic now, so here they're introducing a device that they have created called AppPad. This was created by a student from IIT Bombay. So when you have a look at the headings, it's giving a story behind that innovation. Then they're talking about the actual technical details of the device and how you can know more about the device. So in this case, someone who is from scientific background or someone who is from electrical background specifically can understand all these technical details. But if not, you can still understand the story behind it and what it's trying to convey in an overall manner. So in this case, our audience will be science professionals or even students, science students who can understand the overall idea of the infographic. However, now if you have a look at this infographic about antibiotic resistance, now if you go through the language that is used here for the text and the graphics that we have used, it's very much clear that we are not trying to use any technical terms or any scientific terms here, yet we are trying to convey a simple message of what antibiotic resistance is and how we can avoid the side effects. So such an infographic will be for someone who is not from a scientific background. So for a layman who may not understand the scientific terms, but still he gets the message behind the infographic. So this is how, according to the type of your audience, you can modify your content and the visuals that you add in your infographic. Yeah, so these are different online tools that are available to that you can use to create your infographics or posters. I would like to quickly take you through a feature from BioRender. I'm sure you have used this to create your illustrations because it has a lot of free vectors available. But one feature that I would like to highlight here is the poster builder that they have recently launched. So with this feature, you can directly drag and drop all your content, all your graphs, images, or text into the screen and it will automatically resize everything. So I'm sure a lot of you must have spent hours resizing all your stuff in the poster when you're designing it in Microsoft PowerPoint. So this feature in BioRender will definitely save your time and it will help you to give a more structured layout to your poster or infographic. So I would suggest you to definitely try it out the next time you're designing your poster. So as you saw in this example, um, we are basically trying to convey our entire research paper with the help of some simple motion graphics. So that's the whole crust of scientific animation. These are some free tools that are available online. You can explore, go ahead and explore it and create your simple graphics, which you can add your research presentations, and it will definitely improve the impact of your work and the way you present it. So before going ahead, I would like to quickly take you through Adobe Express. It's a free tool.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
the example that you had shown previously, this was made in which software?
This was created in After Effects. So it's a professional animation software.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like I said, it's not necessary to have a knowledge about all the professional design softwares. With some basic tools like Adobe Express and BioRender that I shown previously, you can just develop some basic skills that will be helpful for you to present your research work. So that's the whole idea behind our webinar today.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's take a screen. Okay, let's take a screen from the same animation that we saw now. So now you see I've added some very basic animation to this, which you can also try out in PowerPoint. I'm sure you must have done that before. But let's see what options are available in Adobe Express. So let's say I pick up this particular portion. So this is one frame from my animation. And I want to apply some animation effect here. So these are all the options that are available in Adobe Express. You can check and see which one suits your content the best or which one you want to use for presenting your data. So let's say I want to make it pop now. Here we have a filter where I can change the duration of my animation. So it will last for a little longer. I can change the personality, that is the style. This is coming out very strong. I want it to be a little softer, or I want it to be very loud. I can change it accordingly, and I'll also change the intensity of my animation as you see now. So this is about just some basic animation tools that we have in Adobe Express. You can definitely go ahead and explore more and create more variations of your motion graphics. So in case I was able to get your interest in this field, and if you want to pursue a career in this field of scientific illustration, there are some programs on scientific illustration or medical illustration that are available abroad in abroad universities, and there are several online courses as well which you can go ahead with to just develop some basic skills. And I would suggest you to stay in touch with illustrators through platforms like LinkedIn. You can be a part of organizations like the GNSI and AMI, where you can stay updated with the new trends in the field of scientific illustration. And here's a list of some top universities abroad which offer dedicated programs in scientific illustrations or related to that. Like we have biomedical visualization, and there's medical and biological illustration. So in case you're interested and you want to pursue a career in this field, you can definitely go ahead and look into these programs. And in case you're interested, you can ping me after the webinar. I will be glad to share the list with you. So thank you everyone for your patience and for being so interactive. It was really fun today. And before we end the webinar, uh, just a quick announcement about our upcoming workshops. So we are planning to have some dedicated workshops for all of these sessions that we saw today. It will be most tentatively towards the end of Jan or early February, or on weekends only. Um, and we are planning to have dedicated hands-on and demo sessions for all the sessions that we saw today: graphical, abstract, infographics, animation, all of that. And in this workshops, we'll be providing you with assignments so that you go ahead and practice those softwares, and we'll also be providing with a certificate for it. So this will be the dedicated sessions for the upcoming workshops, where we'll also talk about some basic fundamentals of design, and then introduce you to all the tools in Inkscape, where you can follow along with us and create your own graphical abstract. Same for scientific data visualization. We'll be going through all the tools in Tableau public software. And similarly for infographic and scientific animation, we'll be going through each softwares. For animation, we have Adobe Express, and for infographic and poster as well, we have BioRender and Adobe Express, which have different templates that we can play with and create our own designs. So please go ahead and share your feedback for this webinar. We'll be glad to improve our content in the future, and also feel free to reach out to me. Now, if anyone would like to share their feedback or have any questions, please go ahead.
Rutuja, hello.
Yes.
Huh. So actually, you showed this scientific animation video of this dipstick-based pathogen detection. Actually, I thought we are not able to hear the audio. Was there any audio right in that video?
Yes, yes.
Is anybody else able to hear? So because for me it
No.
was like it was
For me it doesn't work. For me it
Yeah,
doesn't work.
same. I couldn't hear the audio. Yeah.
so that's
Oh,
why I wanted to
okay.
point it out because the audio was there in the video which I saw in the LinkedIn post. So
Yeah, yeah.
so one thing is that how you added the audio, have you written some script and it added like that, or how did you do that?
So this is a final video that we had created with this voiceover being added. I think there was some technical issue here because I could hear the audio when I was presenting. Uh, Sorry for the technical issue. I'll definitely share the LinkedIn link again if anyone would like to go through it. There is some technical problem with Canva, I think.
And how did you add the audio? Like you have written some script and it added, or like while creating the video?
Yeah, there's a software for it, which was used by a professor to convert the script into voiceover, and then we added it to the final animation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, would anyone like to give your feedback on today's webinar?
For me, it was really, really helpful. And maybe I will use some of new tools because I'm practice the design and help making poster very long time. Inkscape, Canva frequently I'm using. Adobe also using. Not this way for poster presentation data and those things. Tableau is new for me, and that is definitely it's help animation. Definitely I will try that. That's this tool. Looking
Yeah.
forward for the future collaboration also.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your feedback, and I'm glad to know that this was helpful to you. Do
Hello.
we have anyone else?
Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Can
please
you
go
hear
ahead.
me? My name is Usman. I have problems with the GUI designing. Like Photoshop, I have tried out stuff, but I knew I could not work it with it properly. So I make my presentations in LaTeX. But now my seniors are all making presentations in PowerPoint. So there's are it have many more options than LaTeX. So is anything available in this animation and the data representation stuff can be done by using LaTeX too? Like
Sorry, I've not myself used LaTeX before, so I don't think I can answer this question.
okay,
But yeah, I can definitely look into it and get back to you.
okay. Like does anyone uses LaTeX for this kind of illustrative presentations?
Yeah, if anyone would like to answer this question, please go ahead.
This I just want to know, like, do you have any people who uses this LaTeX for
Sorry,
illustration?
sorry to interrupt you. You're not clearly audible to me, actually. Can you
Yeah.
increase the volume? Or you can
Uh,
maybe type in the chat box if that's possible, because I'm not able to hear you properly.
okay, okay, we'll chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey Rutuja, great talk.
Thank you.
It was really covering all the things. I just wanted to check, like, is BioRender a free software? Like, some parts of it, like, you can make only now 59 components and make a thing, but as soon as you like export it, you cannot export it in 300 dpi. So I'm not sure, like, does IIT has any free BioRender or subscription, or what's the trick for that?
Yeah, actually, that's the thing with BioRender that they have very limited options available. But I'll also be sharing a free resources file with you post the webinar. So there I've added some links to some platforms which will give you illustrations for free, and some of them even don't need attribution. So you can check out those tools, and maybe you can combine all these vectors from different sources and create your own poster or infographic in softwares like Canva or Adobe Express, where they don't have such limitations for exporting your file. So that's the thing. You can combine vectors from different sources and then create your own illustration in the software that will help you export it. With IIT, I'm not sure if they have any such subscription for BioRender. I myself create my illustrations from scratch with softwares like Inkscape and Adobe Illustrator. So I've not used it that much. This was just for people who may not be interested to learn all the softwares from scratch. So tools like this will help you to create your figures in a much quicker manner.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Rutuja ma'am, it was a very nice session. I really enjoyed it.
Thank
Very
you.
well. Everything was sorted in 1 hour. It was very nice. It was like you don't have to go on YouTube and search multiple videos now. And thank you for giving the list of those softwares. Yeah, will we get a recording for this session so we can once again go through all of them?
Yeah, sure. We are planning to have this session posted on YouTube, maybe. So you will definitely be able to go through it all again.
Okay, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would anyone else like to give your feedback very quickly? We still have 3 minutes to go.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to contribute. So I am like I come from a communication background. Right now, I'm working in science communication and outreach. So this was really helpful for me, especially the last bit where you
Okay.
mentioned how we can stay in touch with the global scientific illustrator community. That was nice, and like I was familiar with Canva and Adobe Express, but Tableau was new for me. uh, Thanks
Okay.
for letting us know this about this data visualization tool. I think it would definitely help me. So the talk was really short and concise, and was a nice overview of everything. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
we are already connected on LinkedIn, but I would really love to know more about freelancing opportunities in scientific illustration. I would definitely ping you up later after this webinar. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. That's glad to know that you found this useful and you're interested in this field. Thank you so much for your feedback.
Rutuja, just wanted to ask, like, Adobe Illustrator is a licensed software, so Adobe Express is also like that, or we can use like free?
No, Adobe Express is freely available.
Okay. Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Rutuja. It was a very nice and like informative session in just 1 hour. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Rutuja ma'am, it was a very awesome session. This is my
Thank
first
you.
time learning about these tools. I want to ask you that how can we join upcoming webinars that are going to help during January and February?
Yeah. So we'll be sharing the post on LinkedIn very soon, and you'll get the link to register for it and all the details about it when we post about it. And I would like to request you all to again join the Discord community that we have created. I'm sure you have all received the link through the emails that I had sent previously. So on this community, we are trying to connect all researchers and all illustrators from everywhere. So you can share different tips and tricks with each other. And even I'll be sharing some ideas that you can use to improve your design skills. And then you can stay updated with your illustration skills. So please go ahead and join the Discord community if you haven't already. Even there, uh, I'll keep you updating about all the upcoming webinars and workshops.
Yeah, ma'am. I actually tried clicking on that link and tried joining the Discord chat, but for some reason it's giving me the error that the link is invalid.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to
Yeah,
join that Discord community though. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you
I'll
could
go
check
back and
that.
yeah, I'll go back and check it. If there's any issue, I'll again be sharing the link with you after the webinar.
Yeah,
So
please,
yeah, you can
please.
join through that link.
Yeah, that will be good. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we our time's up now. We'll wrap up with the webinar. Uh, please go ahead and share your feedback with us. I'll also be sharing the feedback form link with you. And yeah, I hope have you interested in this field now, and you'll be eager to join our upcoming workshops too. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.